Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. If you want to join me on my live stream, check out the links in my description and in the comments below. Today, a lot of people ask me, would you rather buy Vechain or Vtho? My answer is usually VET, and in most circumstances, I truly believe VET is the better choice because you can always stake VET to actually get Vtho. The generation rate's pretty low, and because the generation rate is actually pretty low, there are certain times where you actually would want Vtho. Because of certain regulations, a lot of companies don't want to hold VET to generate Vtho. They're going through toolchain, so they're buying like a token representative of Vtho off chain, and then when they actually do a transaction, they basically Vechain does something in the back end to trade that for Vtho, and then the Vtho actually gets burned. So all those transactions still use Vtho, but they're just doing it in a roundabout way to basically get around regulations for certain countries. So the thing is, like, some companies, because of regulations, don't really want to hold VET to generate Vtho. They're going to buy Vtho right off the market. Now that eventually puts pressure on VET because the Vtho you're generating is going to be in much more demand, and because the Vtho you're generating is going to be much more demand, the price of the Vtho is going to rise, which means the price of the VET is going to rise. Think about it as oil derricks. If the price of oil rises, then the value of an oil derrick will actually rise, obviously. And that's how you would actually think about VET and Vtho, because VET is the oil derrick, Vtho is actually the gas. So in the long run, I do believe VET is going to be more reliable investment, and it's actually going to be worth more. But there are times where you actually want to buy Vtho. Like if you know that a huge company is going to come on and it's going to require a lot of Vtho immediately, like in the future, not right now because they're all basically coming on slowly. But if you know a huge company wants to come on and they're going to need a bunch of Vtho right away, that's when you actually want to stock up on Vtho, because they're not going to want to wait a couple of years or whatever, or a couple of months for their VET to generate enough Vtho. They're going to just want to buy a huge glob of Vtho off the market. And if they want to buy a huge glob of Vtho off the market, then that's going to put sudden pressure on Vtho, and the effect on VET will actually take time. So essentially, you would buy the Vtho, wait for the Vtho to go up, and then convert the Vtho to BTC to either buy more VET to cash out or to do something else. Because that sudden squeeze on Vtho price on the exchanges will pump the price of Vtho up without affecting the price of VET very much. Because VET and Vtho are still two very different markets. I mean, they have their own pairs, and they don't really trade against each other. They trade against, they could trade against each other, but they will eventually trade against BTC and probably eventually fiat. So the thing is, like, even if they did trade against each other, like people would just be selling VET to get Vtho. So, and it will have a BTC pair or an ETH pair or something like that, and people will actually trade against it, or maybe even a USD pair. So a sudden big demand from one or more large companies that want to jump on really quickly, they'll actually demand Vtho, not VET, and in that instance, Vtho will probably surge up, whereas VET will be a much slower rise up. So if you, in the future, not right now because everyone's testing stuff first, but in the future, if you know that like there's a big company that's going to demand a lot of Vtho all of a sudden, that's when you buy Vtho instead of VET. But if you're accumulating over the long term, you definitely want VET over Vtho. So that's what I would say as to VET and Vtho, what you should buy and when you should buy. Obviously, do your own research because a lot of these big companies are going to come on over time, and in that in that kind of scenario, it's actually just better to buy VET. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.